Hey, sixth graders, welcome back from Wednesday's reprieve from class. Hopefully, you guys had a good day, caught up with your work, and your trimester 3 is cruising along with 0 missing assignments. Here's the deal for today. We got some review, some skills that I learned from your quill work. We're gonna do some more text features, and today's kind of a play day. In STEM schools, we always allow some room, although this year's been hard, to sort of experiment and play with stuff. So you don't learn something unless you get dirty with it. So we're gonna do a little bit of that today. So you get some free time, and I'm gonna expect you to play. Okay, so first things first, just remind everyone, I don't know if I announced this to everyone, but the World Gods Championship came down to Zeus versus Wakantanka, and by a narrow margin of 1 vote, Wakantanka takes the World Gods quiz, World Gods Championship. So just make sure you pay a little respect to the Lakota tribe today, because their particular god of creation won out this particular one. So our native peoples have a victory over the European peoples in terms of this particular event. All right. Here's the thing from Quill. So I looked at all of the data. It's interesting when I had you guys take those little Quill assessments. I looked at all of your work, and I don't know if I love the Quill assessment. Some of the stuff was kind of on, kind of off, but I do know we got some work to do. We have some work to do on capitalization. For instance, I saw this. One of the questions asked for you to capitalize everything, and you do capitalize National Teacher of the Year award because it's all one name. You don't just capitalize just the end. You capitalize all of it because it's all part of the name. You can't have one part of the name without the other. Same thing with Atlantic Ocean. It's its full name is Atlantic Ocean, just like Mr. Slaby is 2 capital letters. All right, we also have to work on singular versus plural. A lot of you think that when you take the word city, which is one city, and you make it multiple, you add an S. Nope, you add an IES. It's a weird thing with English, just is. We have work to do on commas, right? So actually, I saw a lot of you always put commas between days and years or days and months. Always. And that's got to be something that's pounded into your brain. So we got some work to do there. We also have to work on to do on sentence combining. If I say scorpions thrive in the desert and the desert is dry, and I say I want you to combine these without adding any words, all you need to do is say this: scorpions thrive in the dry desert. See, I just took this word, put it right there. So we got to start thinking about better ways to say what we want to say without all the extra words. And lastly, possessives. We are struggling with possessives. And I know a lot of people don't even know what these are called, but these little dots right here, the little curly dots, they're not apostrophes. Or I'm sorry, they're not commas, they're apostrophes. That's what they are. And we got to start using them. So that's what today's lesson is possessives. When a thing or a person takes possession or owns something, we use apostrophes and certain forms of words. So sometimes a word changes. And apostrophes go before the S in singular and after the S in plural. So here's some example. The cat belongs to Mr. Slaby. It is Mr. Slaby's cat. So the apostrophe, there's one Mr. Slaby. The apostrophe goes before the S, right? The cat belongs to that man. One man. It is the man's cat. Okay? Goes right there. The cat belongs to that man. Could also be, it is his cat. Now, there's no apostrophe there, right? Because the word his is a possessive. Or the cat belongs to those folks. It is their cat. I don't need a possessive if a word literally shows ownership. And that's what those words are for. The cat belongs to those folks. It is those folks' cat. Now, this is where it gets really interesting because you're like, Mr. Slaby, why does it go after? Well, because folks is a bunch of people, right? So it's not one folk, it's folks, and the apostrophe goes after. All right, the cat belongs to those folks. I also could say the cat is theirs. Theirs. Okay? That, again, I don't need an apostrophe there. That's what's weird about English, is that that's what you do to say it's theirs, but you don't need an apostrophe because that S and the ownership word there all works together. All right, the cat has dark thoughts. The cat's thoughts are dark. So there's one cat, right? And here's another example of that plural thing. The cats have dark thoughts. The cat's thoughts are dark. Notice you would hear exactly the same thing. The cat's thoughts are dark. The cat's thoughts are dark. Where you put the apostrophe changes the meaning. So this stuff matters. I mean, this hugely matters. So you got to make sure that we understand it. So today, for some practice on a Google Doc, I have sent you a copy. Each of you got your own. So you have to be signed into your apps.district196.org assignment, and you're going to write on this document. What I want you to do is rewrite these sentences so that the possessives work. Nothing else is wrong. There's just one word here that has a possessive, and it's got to be written correctly. And we'll just do that together. And in class, we'll go over it tomorrow. For those of you who are at home, in class, we'll do it together. That's part one for today. Part two, we got some more notes, people. All right. So you're going to take your notes. You're going to get to that document. Remember the one that has all of the actual notes to take on your notability. We've been doing that for 2 days now. So if you have any questions, you got to ask me. If you're lost about what I'm talking about, you got to contact me. All right, text feature 8 is artist version of something for illustration. An illustration is not a photo. It's really good at pointing out necessary details, but it's not a photo. And for instance, like when you put together an IKEA thing, these are drawings. Way easier to do a drawing because you can really highlight pieces. If this was a picture, we'd have to pull apart the picture and it wouldn't have the details that we can see in a black and white drawing, okay? Also, this is, a lot of times you'll see images of space stuff that looks really cool. Chances are it's not real. We do not have a camera that can take a picture of the Crab Nebula. This is an artist's drawing of it. It's a computer drawing, but it's a drawing. All right, that's number 8. So the notes you're taking are right here. Shows what something looks like drawn by artist. Okay, text feature number 9 is captions. Captions are important because they explain what a photograph or illustration is about. So these are the notes you want to take for this. Here's my example. This confirms the picture is or is not what the reader expects from what they read in the text. That's why it's important. For instance, if I take this one right here, and you guys saw this, this is, I don't know if you can read it. Oops. It says, federal prosecutors allege the Illinois Governor Rod Blagojevich, that's this dude, I know that because I lived in Illinois, to sell or trade the U.S. Senate office vacated by President-elect Burka Abim. Burka Abim. That's Barack Obama. So sometimes these things are mistakes and they matter because I'm trying to confirm that looks like Obama. And actually a part of me is is that Barack Obama? But then this is just a mistake. Same thing over here. If anyone knows, this is not who this is. This says this is Angela Bassett right here. So this was an article, and in the caption, it was supposed to explain this is Angela Bassett, but they got it wrong. They called her Omarosa Manigol Newman. They were wrong. So these things do matter. They're not small pieces. You got to know what the picture is. And the reader's making sure that if they see a picture, they want to know that it's what they think it is. So captions matter. All right. Text feature number 10 is a label. Tells the name of certain parts of a photograph or illustration. So really, this is about pointing your reader to something specific, especially when there's little pieces. So for instance, right here, the brain, I can show you a picture of the brain, but the label is going to tell you what all those parts are, right? The brain is just a big sort of, googly mess, but there's all these parts and labels help with that. All right, that's a pretty easy one. All right, 11, last one, text feature 11 is the graph. This organizes and helps compare information in a visual way. So these are the notes for that. Now, here's the thing. It really is a good way to show visually the weight of a concept or a comparison. For instance, if I just whipped up, and I'll show you how to do this today, the cost of a new car and the cost of a new bike. If I created a bar graph, this is a great way to see oh, that's how small the bike costs compared to a new car. That is a good representation of how much more a bike or how much more a car costs than a bike. So graphs are great at showing if something is mostly something or something is less something. All right. The other thing is that's all our notes for today. Okay. Guys, can you give me a second? just because I have to put my mask on. So can you wait outside? Um, so here's the thing. We're putting together, like, so now we have our assignment, we have our notes. The third thing I want you to do is just play. Before we use a tool or create something, we run tests. So today, what I'd like you to do is on your iPads, I want you to mess around, okay? I know, mess around time. We don't get to do that very often. First thing is you're gonna play with Book Creator, okay? And Book Creator is an iPad app, okay? Looks like this, okay? There's a symbol. And I want you to follow these things. I want you to basically like start by hitting the new book, okay, right there, and start messing around. I want you to try to add a text title. So give a title to this. Don't worry, there's no expectation, just think around. Change the font of the title into something funky, so play with the font. Change the font color, add an image, draw an image, change the background color, and add some style, right? Add some style. I don't know what that is. Play around with some features. I want you to think around. And if you just do it for a minute and say, I got it, that's not what we do. We used to spend days testing things before we went into a movie because we didn't want to make mistakes while we were spending millions of dollars. You don't have millions of dollars, but you have time, and time is valuable. So I would expect you just to play today. I'm not going to expect you to turn in anything, but if you come on, when we start working in Book Creator and you're like, I don't know what to do, then I'm going to know that you didn't do this. Okay. Number two is I want you to practice with Google Sheets, okay? And Google Sheets is something you have to download as well. This is the symbol. What I want you to do here is open a new sheet, and then I have very specific directions here. Is I want you to open a new sheet, and in column A, cell 1, so that's right here, column A, see that? Cell 1. I want you to write cost of a Little Debbie snack. Column A, cell 2, cost of a turtle bread chocolate pie. This is actually real because this is some of my favorite stuff. Column B, cell 1, write 1, and then write 30. Okay, then here's the thing. When you click on a menu item in your iPad version, you're actually going to click on this plus right there. Oops. So you're going to go up here, and it's right there, that plus. And that's going to get you the same menu. And what you don't have to do actually insert, you're going to do this. Oops, sorry. When I hit plus, insert shows up as chart, image, column. You're going to do chart, okay? So that's what we're doing. So click on the menu item. Actually, you're going to click on the plus. There you go. And choose chart and see what happens. And then, we're going to play with that. So there you go. There's your work for today. The only thing you're turning in is, so here's our end of Thursday. Number 1, finish possessives practice. And number 2, take notes on number 8 through number 11. And 3, play around with Book Creator and Google Sheets. All right, there you go. There's your work for today. All right, everyone. Bye-bye.